decides to send his elite unit to support Rue, thinking the final battle is about to take place. As they return to the village, Therese tells Rue that she wants to serve him, but she asks him to give the secret medicine to the humans because she wants to save the princess. So he thinks about it, thinking he can get the kingdom in his debt, but he considers the religious system, knowing there are 5 great gods in the world, which grant people extraordinary powers. We learn that he has the blessings of the god of demise and origin, so he thinks there's going to be a religious conflict if he hands over the medicine. But he considers what could happen, and he tells Therese that he will think about it. Rue's group approaches the enemy's base, but he knows they're outnumbered, so he thinks they shouldn't fight the humans head-on. We learn that he scouted the area ahead of time, and he heard the humans talking about the Rugelorden. He asked Crowback and Therese about this, so they told him that the Rugelorden is composed of 8 heroic warriors, who are all blessed by the gods, and they have the ability to strengthen their allies. But Rue looks forward to fighting them, because he wants to eat them. He summons his skeletons, but Mio asks him why he's doing this, reminding him that it's almost dawn. But he explains that he has a plan, telling his friends to secure the perimeter, because he's going to attack the base by himself. His skeletons charge in, and the humans struggle to deal with them, but the sun rises, and they start to disappear. But we learn that Rue covered them in slime, which protects them from sunlight. Rue joins the fight, ordering the skeletons to help his friends, and he gathers the water and blood in the area, unleashing a powerful wave that takes out all the soldiers in an instant. But a boy named Philip approaches Rue. He knows that Philip is one of the Rugelorden, and he's known as the Bone Bug, but he reveals that he doesn't like the name because it makes him sound like an insect. He shows Rue his eyes, and Rue realizes that he received the blessing from the god of demonic insects, thinking his aura is insane. He reveals that he used his abilities to create bugs, and he releases them as the soldiers start moving. Rue notes that they aren't zombies because the sun isn't affecting them, so he believes they're being controlled by parasites. Philip explains that the members of the Rugelorden are different from heroes because they aren't as powerful, but they have the ability to strengthen their allies. He uses his ability, which transforms the soldiers into insects, and they start attacking Rue, but he slices through them. So Philip recognizes his skills and decides to control the insects, allowing them to launch coordinated attacks. Rue struggles against them, and Philip notes that he's getting hit, but the insects can't kill him because of his regeneration. So he decides to summon his favorite pet as a massive centipede appears, and it bites Rue, as Philip reveals that his pet is classified as a natural disaster. He explains that its venom can paralyze its targets, and Rue loses consciousness, so the centipede puts him down, as Philip orders it to finish its mission. So the centipede leaves, but he realizes that Rue is missing, and he launches a surprise attack, which Philip barely manages to avoid. He wonders how Rue was able to survive, but he refuses to reveal his secret, and Philip thinks he used a fake corpse. He's about to reveal his first secret weapon, and he starts bragging about how powerful he is, but Rue suddenly attacks him, shattering his vial. He thinks Rue is being rude, and tentacles suddenly appear from his body as he prepares to use his second secret weapon. He consumes the corpses, allowing him to create a suit of armor, and he starts attacking, but Rue counters and blows him away. He starts flying, as he mentions that Rue is full of surprises, wondering how he can be so powerful without an epic awakening. So Rue wonders what he means, but he refuses to say anything. Rue reveals that he also has an insect outfit, and he summons his exoskeleton, saying they're now evenly matched. He starts flying, as Philip tries to stop him, but he manages to close the distance, and he lands a devastating blow, which sends Philip crashing to the ground. We see that his friends have defeated the enemy soldiers, but Mio gets a bad feeling, and she flies off. Philip says he's had enough, and he abandons his armor as he starts running away. Rue chases after him, but the armor gets in the way, so he strikes it down, but realizes that Philip has gotten away. Mio is glad to see that he's okay, and he reveals that he sent a replicant with stealth abilities to search for the human leader. He sees the Prince of the Kingdom, telling him he wants to put an end to the war, so he gives the secret medicine to the prince, telling him to use it to save the princess. The soldiers ask him what they should do next, and he tells them to send a messenger, because they've already acquired the secret medicine. We return to Rue, and we learn that he didn't want to kill the prince, because the kingdom will retaliate if that happens. Gobi destroys a cliff, creating a wall around the forest, and they start looking after their wounded soldiers. We see two humans trying to return to their base, but they see Rue, so they panic, but he spares them, telling them the war is over. Rue has a funeral for his fallen comrades, as he notes that they lost 30 because of the war. We learn that the corpses need to be burned, because they could end up turning into zombies or ghosts, and his friends start crying, as Rue thinks about doing whatever it takes for them to survive. We see that a number of the goblins evolved after the battle. Chi has become a half-Saint Lord thanks to healing all the injured, and he even gained a shield ability that's strong enough to withstand some of Rue's punches. Gofu has become a ghoul, because she always ate the zombies that Rue created, but Rue is a little scared of her. He tries not to think about her, but he runs into Mei, who has become a Demeki, with eyes all over her body, which give her the remote viewing ability, so she will be good for gathering intel. Rue checks on the kobolds, and he sees that their leader has also evolved. He reveals he has gained a true name, calling himself Akita, as we learn that true names are special names that individuals are granted at a certain level. But if an enemy learns it, they can cast certain spells like curses on you, so it's important to keep it a secret, but Akita reveals it to Rue as a sign of his loyalty. After that, Rue wonders what to do with the prisoners. He tells them they're free to leave, or they can stay as provisional members, but there are a few who are unhappy being treated like rookies, since they're much stronger than the other goblins. Rue tells them to leave if they have a problem, but the leader Zai suggests fighting for control of the group. Rue decides to humor them, so he tells them to attack him together. They activate their orb weapons, as we learn that they give their users a boost in power, but Rue still easily blows them away. Chi heals their wounds, but Rue suddenly gets hit by a sneak attack, and he gets sent flying. The Gorilla Man calls himself the boss, but Rue suddenly punches him back, and completely destroys him. Rue looks for the half-Dampier, but sees him flirting with Mio, so he gives him an extra special beating. Mio ends up stopping him, and he gives the man some of his blood to heal him. There are others who thank Rue for saving them from slavery, and they willingly join as provisional members. The half-Dampier approaches them again, but he's fallen in love with Rue after tasting his blood. However, Rue isn't into it, so he gives him another beating, but they end up with 50 new provisional members. Rue introduces Emery to some dwarves, but they seem to be a bit rude, so Emery doesn't like them, but Rue asks her to get along, since dwarves are said to be the best craftsmen, and they give him a new warhammer. Rue goes on a walk in the woods, and he thinks about how much things have changed, but the Dryad suddenly appears, asking if he wants to have some fun. He tries to turn her down, but she has her way with him, and when he gets back to the base, the girls get mad seeing all the kiss marks on his face. After that, Rue starts to grow crops, as we learn that he went to see the Dryad to get magical seeds from her, which grow faster and are more nutritious. Some of the provisional members decide to go home, and we see that the noble prisoners have also been released, but they've all been brainwashed by Mio, so they've basically become spies, and Rue learns that the human army has started to completely withdraw. The elf chief is glad that it's over, and he invites Rue to join their banquet. Rue does some crafting with his skeleton bones, and he ends up creating a skeleton centipede. He shows it to the girls, and they think it's creepy, but he explains they can use it as a vehicle, and he plans to take them back to their home. They wonder if they are being kicked out, but he mentions he wants to fulfill his promise to take them home and give them a chance to choose if they want to stay. There's a feast to officially welcome the new members, and Zai thinks the centipede will scare people in the town. The Dampier Danny notes that the Empire and the Kingdom have disdain for demi-humans, so he will need a guarantor from a noble family to get in, but Zai offers to help him out. The next day, before they head off, Rue splits everyone into groups, telling them to gather more information about the outside world, but reminds them that no one is allowed to die. They all head off, and Rue thinks things will be quiet without everyone around, but he looks forward to finding even stronger prey out in the world, as they head towards the city of Triant. They arrive at the city, but everyone panics, thinking they're about to get slaughtered. So Rue's companions explain their situation, and they're able to find a place to stay. He tells the girls they can leave his party and stay in the city, because he knows they were kidnapped, and he wants them to enjoy their lives. But he thinks they're a valuable asset to his party, so he prefers having them around. Rubelia shows him the Adventurers Guild, where he immediately gets attacked because everyone thinks he's a threat, so he knocks them out. Rubelia tells the attendant about Parabellum, and an old man tells them to register as adventurers, so they follow his instructions. Mio invites Rue to go shopping, but he explains that he needs to gather intel, and he disguises himself as a human. He walks around the city as he hears everyone talking about him, thinking he's dangerous, so he realizes that it will be difficult for him to advertise his company. He suddenly gets ambushed by a group of thugs, but he easily deals with them and eats their bodies. He realizes that they're wearing rings with the same design, so he thinks they're working for a criminal organization. He hears a boy arguing with a group of men because he just paid their ransom, but they won't release their hostage. So he threatens to kill them, but they take him down, and he's about to be stabbed, but Rue knocks them out, and he infects them with one of his replicants. The boy thinks he should have killed them, but he explains that he has a plan, and he gives him a business card, telling him to contact Parabellum if he needs help, as Rue reveals his true form. That evening, the boy visits Rue, saying he's trying to rescue a princess who has been kidnapped, and Rue reveals that he knows where to find her. We see the thugs in their hideout, but Rue eliminates them, and he leads the boy to the princess as he examines a document, realizing that the whole thing was planned out. He advises the boy not to tell anyone what happened, but he refuses, so Danny uses his hypnosis, forcing him to obey. The following day, Rue learns about the next generation of goblins, and he's glad to hear this, but he keeps thinking about the human girls, hoping they won't leave him. So he visits them, and they all tell him they want to stay with him, so he thanks them for being loyal to him. Later that day, the princess